everybody. Oh my gosh, I am so excited. I just finished my tea, so I can't even say, "What are you drinking?" Well, I can say, "What are you drinking?" But I could say, "I'm not drinking anything. I just finished my tea." But yes, I'm very excited to have a chat. I love, love, love our Christmas live streams, as you know. And what's funny, oh, first of all, I hope all of my lovely American friends had a great Thanksgiving. I know that is just such a massive holiday in the US. And it's funny because so many of the people that were commenting in our various groups were just like, oh, like I get so overwhelmed. It's so crazy. So I get it. I get it. But I'm so excited uh to chat today, and it's a little crazy here. It's a bit hectic. I've got my I started decorating the other day, and my son just got boots, so the box is in here because I was like, I'm going to use that box for some of the books from the bookshelf. And you know how I feel about the bookshelf, and the bookshelf won't be around forever, so we're going to talk about that in an upcoming video. But anyway, it's chaos on my desk. It's even a little messy. I had to buy a new camera because my other camera fell to the ground, and I was very sad. But worse things can happen. It's a tax write-off, so that's okay. So who's here? What are you drinking? I have got Evelyn's here. Yay. Susie's here, actually here early. Yay, Susie. Good late afternoon, everyone, though it's so dark. Yes. Isn't this crazy this time of year? I'm going to tell you something quickly. So I get the seasonal affective disorder, and this year, I started seeing a naturopath for perimenopause symptoms. And she was like, I want to check your vitamin D. And it was like low. So she was like, nope, you need to take vitamin D, get the drops, add it to your food. And so I did that in the summer. Right now, I feel amazing. Like I just keep like that. I started it in the summer, and then you go down once your levels get up. But anyway, I feel a lot better. So with the dark, I used to be like, oh no, it's dark. We'll see how I feel, because I know in the past I feel okay until right before Christmas. And then I'm like, ugh. So we'll see. But Jean's here. Hello, RCG. Hello from North Carolina. Julie. Kelsey's here from Delta, I bet. Are you back at home? Megan, Mary, Fiona. Amy, hello from Massachusetts. I love it. Amelie, hello, Amelie. Lindsay's here with her coffee. Megan, -14. It was -5 here today, which is pretty cold for us in the morning. Anita, good evening from the Netherlands. Judy, hello. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. Brenda from Kentucky. Anita, oh my gosh, everybody. Jamel, I take Estroven from Walmart. Interesting. That must be a vitamin. Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, the vitamin D has helped. I'm not quite ready for a bunch of the other things yet, but it's coming and I'm open to it. So, yes. Now, one of my big things on this channel have been, oh, thank you, have been to do the live streams. And then like I go through phases. And 2 years ago was when I started, and you wouldn't believe the actual preparation that I used to do for these live streams. Like I would pull this desk, which is a sit stand desk, like on, it's heavy because it's got like a mechanism, and I'd pull it out and I'd get like my tripod up and I'd put my camera there, and I'd have like the microphone I'd be testing, and then sometimes it wouldn't work. And I'd use this program because I was using like my DSLR camera, and it was just absolutely crazy. And it was so funny this morning because I just came in here like 10 minutes ago after watching Farmhouse on Boone on YouTube, drinking my tea. Still have my pajama pants on, not my shirt, because my husband and I are headed over to Vancouver today on a ferry in less than 2 hours. I'm super duper excited. We're going to see the band Depeche Mode in concert. And we're going to visit our son, who's going to university in Vancouver. And it's just so nice. Like now that our kids are a little bit older, it's so easy to leave them. Like my mom, she comes and stays, and part of it, I would say, like in the summer, I'm like mostly I'm like keep care of the garden because they're 14 and 16, and I'm like make sure the cats are okay. But we do live like a little bit out of town, so they need some driving, but they're so easy. It's so much easier than they were little. Like you used to just feel so bad. So yeah, I'm super duper excited. Let me know how you feel about Christmas. Like, are you excited? And tell me your favorite Christmas movie. Now, for me, as far as Christmas movies go, it's very hard to narrow down because I love so many. Oh man, I meant to grab my other thing. Um, Actually, I will grab it. Hold on. Where are you? There you are. It's easier to find things. You see, I've got my blanket. I'm a blanket girl. I am a blanket girl. Okay, here we go. Right on in my handbook, I've got favorite movies and shows: Scrooged, Elf, National Lampoons. So I would say my top 3, because I can't choose just one, but National Lampoons for sure. Oh man, it's a tough one. I think National Lampoons is my favorite, actually. Because when I look at the rest, I'm like, how do you rank them all? A lot of people don't like the version of The Grinch with Jim Carrey, but I love that one. So, and I've got that in my book here where I keep it all organized. And I initially started it in here. So let's see. What are your favorite movies? It's a Wonderful Life. I love it. And it's so funny because some people say that It's a Wonderful Life is not a Christmas movie. And I get it because they're like, most of it doesn't take place at Christmas. And it's true. But it is so like the end. Come on. Even like Die Hard. I only started watching Die Hard a few years ago. That's even a Christmas movie. I love it. Elf. I love Elf. Rudolph. Yes. The claymation. Actually, no. So, no. I didn't have them all in my book, obviously, or maybe there's a second page. And Gremlins, yes! Ah! I love it. I love it. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. In fact, the Stuff You Should Know podcast that I listen to, they do a holiday spectacular Christmas like every year, and they talk about various things, and they actually talked to the guy who made Die Hard, and he's like, yes, it's a Christmas movie. And there's a lot of like, I can't remember what they all are, but there are a lot of like references to it. It's a Wonderful Life, The Family Stone. Yeah. I don't like how that one ends though. Am I thinking of the right one? Yeah. Like with the mom. I don't do sad. There's been too many, like with my job as a nurse and as a 911 dispatcher and my husband's job, like there's too much like real life sadness in real life. So we're like, no, anytime I watch anything, there can be no sadness or like very little. Love Actually. I love Love Actually. The first time I saw Love Actually, I was in London. It just was a whole new experience. I like Christmas and Christmas movies, but not the dark time of year. Yes, it's a bit overwhelming and decorating for Christmas. We'll get into that. Polar Express. Yeah. So I do recommend getting your vitamin D levels checked no matter where you live. I had to pay, even though, in Canada, like a lot of our stuff is covered. The government, for some reason, doesn't care. And they don't. I had to pay, even though they were low. And my doctor's like, oh, well, I'm sure everybody's is low. So I'd go to see the naturopath, and she actually told me how to correct it and like what my levels were worth figuring out. And like I said, I don't know how I will feel later, but I feel great now. Plus, the other things I do with the darkness is I deal with I find working out almost every day helpful, trying to really limit sugar, which we'll get into in a minute because in Canada that might be a little easier right now. And just like trying to keep things positive. In January and February, I find like the hardest month. So I actually plan to I plan to like have some like theme nights, like maybe something to look forward to. And that's what, like when I met Diane in Denmark, we did an interview. Actually, I'm going to put that on the podcast. And she was just said, like having things to look forward to is like the biggest thing during like the hard times of the year. So yeah, that is definitely something I thought if we did like, because we always have a lot of movie marathons in January. We do like we watch all of the Indiana Joneses, all of the Star Warses. We were watching all the Harry Potters, but we watched those at the end of August, beginning of September this year. Like just a lot of like movie nights because during the rest of the year, like if I'm gardening, if it's light out, like I don't want to be down in the basement watching movies. I want to be like doing things. But I feel like for those of us in particular living in the colder climate, I think, and they say that you actually do need more sleep in the winter. I think that it's a good thing that we're kind of forced to slow down and to reflect and do all of these things. You used to swim 5 to 6 days. Can you do that again? And the other thing is, so we took our cat Crumpet, the disabled one. He's got his cerebellum is damaged and of like from a virus. So we took him and our other cat on a walk down the back, and it was so nice to just be out and about. And yes, Sally, I think that couple in Love Actually is hilarious too. They're so cute. I love that they're both just so innocent. Anyway, yeah. So I really, really feel like you have to be so intentional during this season to take care of yourself. And you kind of like can't take for granted like how the weather or whatever helps. But at the end of summer, I also find it very like I'm kind of over summer. Like I feel like I'm done with like summer just feels like it's fun, it's lovely, but it does feel like a lot of work and I'm just ready to like settle in at home. There's a ton of things I'm doing in my business. Like I just started the podcast. We're starting a blog, which is going to be so fun and I am so excited for that. And I love doing that stuff. And I even said what were we doing? Okay, so there's this guy. He's got a channel called Abroad in Japan. And my husband and I clicked on the thing because my husband's like, oh, he's going to say he's quitting the channel. And I'm like, I don't be so sure about that. Like the way that we have to be with like thumbnails and stuff, although I try not to be clickbaity at all. But, and he was just starting like a new series. And I said, I don't think he would stop YouTube. Like I said, I freaking love YouTube. I feel like I will always make videos. It is just my favorite way to be creative. And that's what I'm excited about with the blog. I think that's just another way I can do that. And it brings me so much joy. And what's great about this time of year is it lets me slow down. So anyway, you guys aren't here to hear about that. Let's talk about Christmas a little bit. And then I need to bring up some of the questions. So I'm going to tell you a story, and some of you may have heard it before. But a few years ago, I feel like it was before the pandemic. It was before the pandemic. Isn't that sad? That's how we have to say things now. But anyway, it was before the pandemic, and we were on a walk in our backwoods. And I think it was like, I feel like it was December 22nd. And I remember thinking like, oh, I got to make cookies. And I was like, I want to make my wreath and I want to do this and I want to do that. And I was like, I don't have time to do all of these things. And I'm like, how did that get away from me? So what I did, I just thought, okay, I'm not like giving up this year. I made cookies, but I just thought next year, I'm going to focus on next year. So I just got out this planner here and I just started writing out all of my favorite baking. I started writing out my favorite snacks, what I like to have in the Christmas dinner. And I just started writing. I started writing recipes like my mother-in-law's sausage roll recipes, the vanilla krantz recipe that I just found on Pinterest that I like, like shortbread, all of these things. And I just started writing them all down. And then like gifts, like who I'm buying for. And then I put a new post-it every year next to it. And I just like write down like what I want to get them. And that's the thing with the Black Friday right now is, like I say like clutter is on sale, so be careful. But I'm not saying don't buy stuff. I'm saying buy things that are going to help you. So if it's gifts, then that's great. Buy the gifts that are going to help you. So while things are on sale, and actually we're going to Vancouver, so I'll probably grab a couple things, although we're walking on the ferry. But and you need two of my kids to tell me what they want. My mom told me what she wants, which is great, so anyway, I've got so many thoughts in my head. So I wrote all of those things down. And then the next year, and then what I did was I was like, Christmas lights. So I put November 1st and I put it in my phone. And every year I get a reminder on November 1st for Christmas lights. Now, I'm not saying we put them up then, but what we do is because of the weather here, if it's windy or rainy, like I don't want my husband on the roof. So I've got that in there. And then I've got I have one that comes up and it's like decorate seriously. And I think it says like November 17th. I've pushed that back. Like we actually decorated yesterday and I don't know if it's my age or what, but I almost want to start a little bit later, but that's okay. And what else? I am And then what I did was I put down like when to start shopping for gifts. I even put a reminder in there to buy myself something. So and it's funny because like if you can see behind me that one wrapped box that's got the check, like the red and the black, that's actually Christmas chocolates that I order in October. So that's what I did because I was like, I'm too overwhelmed. And then what I realized is part of that was that I need to plan. So there's two things that you need to do to simplify for Christmas. And the first is actually to delete things. And I was thinking there's a bunch of groups that I'm in. Like I've got a couple of my YouTube friends and we get together and we meet and we chat. And I was meeting it's funny because, like, we had a meeting the other day, and one girl and I were there chatting, it was just us, and then one more came, and, like, the other 3 couldn't make it, and I'm like, "Maybe we should take December off." And then there's another group I'm in, and I'm like, "I don't think I'm going to attend this December." And so it's like, deleting things is not a bad thing. And a lot of us, we feel like, "Oh, well," and I'm like this too. Like this meeting we went to the other day, I actually had so many things going on, but I was like, "No, there's a guest coming. I don't want to be rude. I want this person to like be seen or whatever." So, and instead of thinking, "No, like I am exhausted. I have all these things to do." I had a friend, she broke her leg. I wanted to bring her a meal, and I actually had to send her a text yesterday and say, "I'm so sorry, but I'm not going to be able to bring you the meal I said I would." Like I felt awful. And that's like I felt like such a jerk. She didn't even write me back. So I'm like, "Oh no." But I had to be honest, like with my time and my energy. I literally did not sit down last night until like 9:15. And then I still was like getting up and doing things. So it's like being aware of like what's happening with your time. Anita says she deleted baking cookies. I love baking. And this is the thing is I am a person who this Christmas handbook, like that you can get, or like that you can download for free. This is things I want to do. There are a few things that the kids care about, very few. Like I have my Christmas playlist in here. I don't even think they like my Christmas playlist. But anyway, yeah, so if you don't like baking, don't do it. Do all bake cookies and so yeah, baking. So it's interesting. I didn't realize that cookies were like the thing at Christmas because in my family it was like butter tarts, which I didn't even realize was like a Canadian thing, and like Nanaimo bars and a whole whack of treats like sausage rolls. So cookies are, I'd say, a third of the thing. So anyway, back to deleting. So deleting things, deleting commitments. And that's okay. It's okay for you to say no to something because you are not able to do it. Because if you're overwhelmed, you're only one person. And as for my friend with a broken leg, I'm going to try to get her something next week because she's still going to have a broken leg next week. But yeah, like, and so it's like being aware of what your energy is and feeling and remembering you only have so many Christmases in your life. And when I was a kid, it was a magical time. And as I got older and older, it became harder and less magical and more about work, 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 and go, go, go. And I didn't have that time to sit down and watch Love Actually and sit down and watch, Gremlins and all of these things. Or what's worse, I would say, "Oh, I'm going to put that on." Like I'd put it on. And I'd be like, "Kids, we're going to watch this." But then I'd get up and start doing things. That's not good. And that's what I was doing. So I'm like, nope, not doing that anymore. So deleting things, deleting decor. We started decorating the other day, and and you guys know, like, I'm a minimalist except for Christmas. I put up a lot of I have 3 trees plus a small one, and I was like, it's not the trees, but I thought, this is a lot. I think we need to declutter even more. And I think, like, even just having plain trees would be nice, but I haven't even had a chance to really look at that, but I am going to declutter more. Plus, like the bookshelf that I always talk about that I don't like, anything that goes on that is going. And that bookshelf's coming down. I will need your help on that. So the first is deleting things. The second is planning. Um, and like I said, you write down what was missing, get any book if you want. You can download my handbook if you like. I have a workshop. So people who are in the Untangled membership get the workshop where I am talking about all of it. And we're coming up with like a solid plan for how to make this a freaking fantastic Christmas and next year an absolutely amazing freaking fantastic Christmas. So we're talking about gift buying, how to save money, decorating, what to remove, how to keep on top of clutter, how to keep decluttering during Christmas, planning your baking, and just how to have like a solid plan for this busy time of year. So if you like, you can sign up for that. And the members of Untangled, of which there are many in here right now, they get to get that for free. So it'll be so fun. And I hope you join us if you're not in there. You can also sign up for the membership, which is, I mean, you can buy the workshop or you can sign up for the membership, which is cheaper and you can cancel anytime. And what we tackle is why it's been so hard to declutter all of these years. Like, and the big thing we get into is the mindset, and then you get into the action of how to do it, and then the momentum of keeping it going. And you can just stop whenever you want. So the link is there. And yeah, so the next thing I want to talk about before we get to questions is Christmas trees. So we got into it a little bit. What is your favorite Christmas tree? Whether it's cookies, whether it's not. And in Canada right now, we are having a sugar strike, which is so strange. And I realized it's this company called Rogers. I'm like, I never like, it's times like this where I'm like, Canada is such a small country that we really have like one sugar company. Although I suppose for something imported like that, it makes sense. But even with salt, like we have salt mines, and there's like Windsor is like our big salt company. So I thought the good news was first of all, I try to limit sugar. Sugar's so bad for you. If you want to like limit dementia and all of these things, reducing your sugar and like cancer, like sugar's bad for us. However, at Christmas, I still like to bake some things. We're going to have an open house. And I had just like a month ago had bought a 5-pound thing of sugar. So I was like, whew, that's good. The other thing was I wanted to bake and cook more savory things. The sausage rolls, my mother-in-law's sausage roll recipe, which is amazing and I absolutely love it. And that's actually funny enough. If you want to talk about an unusual gift, I went to her house. I said, "Show me how to make these sausage rolls, and I'm gonna take pictures." So I took pictures of her throughout the process making it. Then I wrote out the instructions and made a PDF, and I gave it to my sisters-in-law. There's 3 of them for Christmas. They were so happy. They loved it. So gifts can be really easy. I also one of the things I was just watching Farmhouse on Boone, like I said, she's giving like baked goods in some cases, like these beautiful bread wreaths and that to people. And I thought, I think I might do something like that because for people like for my mom and my mother-in-law, we do get them a gift, but my grandparents literally don't need anything. They moved into a independent living facility and they don't need anything. Like decluttering all of their stuff before they moved was like quite the ordeal. So that I thought like that's what I've really gone into is I've really gone into the edible gifts. My husband, he makes like these honey nuts that are delicious, these spicy honey nuts, and I put them in like a little jar or a little canister, give them to people. You give people cookies. The vanilla crowns are great because they're round and you can put them in this like little. I've got tins from David's Tea. Put them in there. So good. Thank you, Sene. Kelsey, who's here, actually sent me a message and told me how to say her name, and I don't think I said it. Sana. Is that it? Ah. Quit eating anything with sugar a few years ago. I don't need anything as gifts. I have too much stuff. I would love consumable gifts. Exactly. That's the thing. I like things that you can eat. The gift of your time with others. Yeah, and you know what? So I brought my mom and my aunt out for dinner and or for lunch. It was so nice and I was like, this is what we should be doing for people who don't necessarily need anything. Like I don't need anything. I can buy anything I want, like literally. Yes, Megan, the sugar strike. So in my town, there's Facebook pages and stuff, and people are like, where can you get sugar? And they're like, there's none at Costco. There's none at the superstore. There's none here. There's like no icing sugar. There's people are sharing recipes for how to make icing sugar, how to make brown sugar. So you go look and let me know. Tell me in the Facebook group if you find any sugar. Did I say it right? Santa? Good. Okay, good. I'm planning to make tablet. Yes, tablet. My mother-in-law, she's Scottish, so that's one of her things. And chocolate pistachio fudge gifts for my mother and mother-in-law. I love that. Yes, it is crazy. And people are like going crazy with the sugar situation. And I'm like, you guys, unless you need sugar, just relax. I'm sure it'll be solved by the time you actually run out. Okay, so let's get to some questions. So first, I'm going to go to the Facebook, our public Facebook group. I say public because the Untangled membership has one too. Okay, so Megan says, this is my first year with 2 trees. Congratulations on your second tree. The fake one for my basement and the real one that I will get in December. I'm not sure how this is going to go. What time tomorrow? Oh, okay. I think good for you because I like having the trees. It's just the other stuff that goes with it that I'm like, that needs to slow down. One of my favorite things I'm going to suggest, actually, somebody else asked a question, so I'll get to that in a minute. Kelsey, our Christmas tree looks like somebody threw every ornament at it and you love it. I love it. How can you decorate the rest of the house that doesn't make it overwhelming? So this is what I think is going to be so nice. And this is why I can't wait to get rid of that bookshelf. But I love, and Kelsey, like you're in BC like I am, so there's no shortage of greenery, but go and like cut some cedar boughs and set them out. Holly, which is an invasive species, is everywhere. So you don't need to feel bad about cutting that down. And just like I like the idea of having like the trees and then having just a couple of other things. And I'm not there actually. Like honestly, I have more than a couple of other things as far as Christmas goes. But laying like greenery around, that is, I think, what we will probably be doing next year. Megan, you say, will it be too much? Can I do what I've always done, or will that feel like too much now? And I think you just do what feels right. So one of the things, like I said, is if you're not putting it out, consider decluttering. The other thing you can do is not do that and then just put half of your stuff out this year, half of it out the next year. And in a few years, if you're like, I never put this out, declutter that. I think that's a great idea. That is such a great gift idea. A jar of local honey. Oh, I love that. And I agree, Susie. I think that, yes, for us, I love putting out like the Advent stuff. Somebody asked a question somewhere else I'm going to get into, but it's about like what to do when they're moving. I think it's great having a second tree, Megan. Okay. I love in our Facebook group, everybody is so wonderful and kind, and they're always so helpful. And it's the same in the membership. They have Team 15 they started where they're decluttering 15 minutes a day. I love it. Love our communities. Okay, so let's get to the Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube. Let me go. I got to open up my YouTube. I got to get going soon, you guys. I've got to catch a ferry, but let's answer some more questions here. Here we go. So much easier than doing this on my phone. Okay. Hubby and I have just moved into a tiny 2-bedroom place. We still have boxes everywhere. This is from Kunama. We still box everywhere, but we want to start putting some Christmas decor out. What would you recommend to achieve a festive feel with only a few pieces? So here's what I would do. If you have any kind of plant, even if it's something like that scraggly thing, lights, like lightweight fairy lights, if you were doing that one, on any plant, any tree, whatever. I think green is helpful and lights are helpful, and maybe a pop of red somewhere. And like I said, I love how they how they decorated back, you know, centuries and centuries and centuries, in the Tudor period. It was all about holly and ivy, right? I love that. For me, it's like the simplicity of it's like the ultimate in like mind minimalism, which is just like for me, I'm like, I just want to relax. Vanessa asked what to do with people that don't want to celebrate Christmas for real. How to rest. Okay. So I think depending on where they live, like if they're in your house and they're not into it, I would just be like, live and let live, and you do you. Like just do you. Just to be honest, like in my house, you may have picked up on this. I am by far the most into Christmas in my house, like by far. And I have 2 children still living here. And I just do my thing. And I say, bring my totes up, please. And I decorate. And I said, like if you want, we started a brand new tradition this year and we order Chinese food when we decorate. Probably because in A Christmas Story, they get Chinese food at the end. I was just feeling that vibe. And I said, this is what we're doing. Join me. If it was like your husband or something, I would just kind of nicely ignore him. Like just do what you're doing. If you love Christmas, show your joy around that. And I mean, you have one life to live. You are not your family. Your family is not you. Do you. Hello from Florida. Excellent. That's good. So not too many questions. I hope I didn't miss anybody's question on the Facebook page. I was sort of just reading you guys talking back and forth. Anybody else have a question? I have a friend whose family have never celebrated Christmas. We respect each other's belief. Yeah, exactly. If they're in your house, that would be different. And I don't know what the situation with Andrea's people were. Oh, I love, and it's changed. Like the Santas, we have a collection of like 5 or 6 Santas, and I just sort of have them in one section in our living room. If you've watched like the most recent video I did and any of my tour videos, you'll see the Santa corner. Because I think like the kids, when they were younger, they cared. I don't even know if they would anymore. And that might be one of those things where I either declutter them or give them to the kids. Whenever they get their own home, what they want to do. Christmas flowers. Yes, I was at the garden center yesterday and I saw they had the amaryllis, and I love the amaryllis, but if you want them to flower for Christmas, you pretty much need to start them in early November. So that's okay. This year's crazy for me. So I was like, glad to miss out on that. We celebrate both Hanukkah and Christmas. I love it. I think that's so fun. I'm so glad they aren't at the same time. Sometimes they are, right? Like occasionally decorating for one, then the other. That's fun. If you ever watch Clean My Space, Melissa Maker and her husband, she's Jewish and he is not, and they celebrate both. And I think it's really cool. I think that's fun. For me, I'm like the more the better. Put up an Advent wreath. I love it. Yay. Okay. Any other questions? That's true, Simone. Actually, in the past, what I've done is I've had a bunch of white amaryllises and they came up in January and I was like, this is good. So I could have grabbed a couple of white ones, but probably would have been good timing. You know what? They'll probably be on sale in a couple weeks. In the past, so you know what I did in the past with those darn amaryllises is I was like, I'm going to save these, but you need to let them like photosynthesize with all their leaves. That's the problem with amaryllises is the leaves are so long. So I actually planted them outside. I don't like plants with long floppy leaves and then they get yellow and you got to, nope. I think I would honestly just swap them out every year now. That's very cool. Love hand-me-down Christmas stuff. I do too. I think that is so, so fun. And yes, Simone, I think it must be so lovely. Yes, there's some people I follow on Instagram and I'm like, oh, I love all of those traditions. I feel like I have hardly any. And then I'm like, no, we do. So that's good. Well, you guys, I have a ferry to catch. So feel free to join us inside the Untangled membership. Or if you want, just sign up for the workshop or not. No matter what, your goal is to make a plan. Plan. Just write down all of the things you want to do. And if you can, get as much done in November as possible. It's only the 24th. Get a lot of prep done. Get your Christmas wrapping Oh, there's a question. Good. Get your wrapping station ready. Get as much done so that you can relax in December. Get that done early. Okay. Amelie says, I have followed your Great Mind Challenge course. I don't feel guilt getting rid of things. Yay. But I feel guilt spending so much time doing it and always prioritizing it. Okay. So here's the thing with women. I'm just going to generalize. This is not true for everybody. And I'm sure a lot of men fall into this category too. We tend to feel bad on things that maybe will benefit us. And we need to recognize that it's okay. It's, in fact, not only is it okay to work on simplifying your environment, don't feel bad about that. If you're busy in December, that's okay. You can back it off a little bit, but you're doing an amazing thing. Even if you were the only one, and this is not true, but even if you were the only one that benefited from decluttering your home, it's still worthwhile. You are a valuable person. Your desires and your need for a decluttered home is important. So don't ever feel guilty about that. And I know in the past I'd be like, oh, I'm going to let go exercise. Is that okay? My husband, he'd be like, yeah. And I'm like, why do I feel bad? Like doing stuff for myself. Don't feel bad decluttering. No. Thank you, everyone. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas. I'm off to the continent of North America from my little island, which technically is on. Anyway, bye.